What's up, everyone? Arctic here. This is the very last Gears of War 3 Beta Series episode. I know it's a sad day, but it's also a good day because Gears of War 3 is here. If you're not waiting outside in a line, something is wrong with you. As I promised from last week's episode, I do have a special guest on my show. I got Quinn DelHoyo, Epic Games multiplayer designer. What's up, Quinn? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm pumped up to play. I'm ready to go. Got all my things squared away, and you can't make fun of me anymore on Xbox Live.
Yeah, you could stop playing Gears of War 2.
Yeah, I'm thankful for that. Very thankful. So, we've been talking about this for a while. We wanted to kind of sit down and maybe make this a regular thing where we kind of address some of the things with the game, talk about different aspects of Gears of War, because we got a lot of people. When I say a lot, I mean we got millions of people that love Gears of War. So I think it would be really cool to potentially do more of these in the future. But today we're just going to kind of do like a Q&A thing about the game, and maybe you can shed some light on some stuff for us.
Sure.
All right, so leaving kind of where we left off with MLG Raleigh, the cliffhanger question about a competitive playlist or an old school playlist zone.
Right.
I think a lot of people would like to know about that. What are the plans for it? I know we've talked about this multiple times now, but what do you think is the possibility of there being a competitive playlist?
Okay, well, let me clear a few things up here. First of all, for all of you people that are, that Epic representative guy was dodging the questions, and the cliffhanger, he didn't want to answer that. Okay, let me clear that up. Okay, for all you guys, first of all, I've never done any type of commentary on a live scale. Okay, that's first of all, and second of all, there's a little bit of nerves. And you and me, Arctic, we had Pocket come up to us. He's like, "Hey, you guys are sounding a little bit monotone. Try to pick it up a little bit, okay, guys?" And I'm thinking, yeah, okay. So now we're sounding like, talking Ambien pills and putting everyone to sleep.
Right.
So I said, all right, well, we're gonna have to pick up the intensity, make it more exciting, and we need to talk about the game more. So when you asked me that question, there wasn't dodging it at all, as much as the game just ended pretty quick, and we had to, the execution, the Scorcher double kill, and all this stuff, it happened really fast. And we had to do that because that's what MLG wanted us. And like I said, I've never done anything like that before, so there was no dodging the questions for all you fans, okay? So just to get that out of the way. And so the question is about a competitive or hardcore type playlist, and the way you mentioned it was a place for the Great Whites, right?
Yeah, the Great Whites, not being with the minnows.
Yeah, exactly. So, to me, I have it separated in two ways. I think like an area for Great Whites would be pretty cool, but I think there's another side of the people and the fans that are talking about, hey, we want a classic playlist area where it's just Nashers and Lancers, Gears 1 style, and that's a totally separate issue in my opinion. So the question is, can we do like an old school playlist or a zone or things like that? Sure, that's a possibility. We have the ability to do that, to have like a weekend event or a temporary thing where we want to try things out. That's not an issue at all. And as far as having a super competitive area, that's something that I would be interested in having. But ideally, that's where ranked is going to be for the time being. Ranked is where party of 5 people are going to be. They're going to go in there, and they're just going to, like I said, it's going to have arbitration between skill and true skill. And when you guys play the game on September 20th, quick match is the option where it was public in the beta. There's a public and a ranked, and so it changed that to quick match. So when you fire it up, a lot of people are going to be playing it there, the vast majority of it, because as soon as, if you just mash the A button in the UI, it just goes right into team deathmatch, quick match, and boom, put me in a server. And there's no sense of arbitration or skill involved in that. So you can go in there with a team of 5 guys and you can just play and just sweep a bunch of people if they're all a bunch of randoms. So that's the difference, where I think the majority of the really good people are going to be in ranked, but that's not necessarily a super great white area that I think would require a little bit more design and thought.
Okay. All right, that's an acceptable answer for me. Hopefully a lot of people got the gist of that and understand it. I'm sure there'll be a lot more questions directly on the forums and in every other place possible. I don't know, it's just an absurd thing, I think, to ask for when we're such a small population, but you know, I definitely want to know, and like you, kind of have that edge where I do like to play at the very best level to test my skill. So I see some of the interest in it, and like I said, I think that's definitely a great answer to the question.
Yeah. Well, like I said, and I mentioned this when we were doing our commentation at MLG, is that we are going to support the game, and so there's going to be events, whether they be weekend events or temporary events. We have the ability to support this game and do interesting one-off playlists. So the people that really want something different besides the usual, we're going to do the best we can to provide that. Just make sure that you provide good feedback in the forums in a nice manner, and we will actually look at it. I mean, that's one of the jobs I have on this game, is to monitor that.
So that basically takes me right into the next question. One of the ideas that I have been floating around, and I put out probably the best version of it I could possibly do with my idea for a new objective-based one-life game type. And, you know, we discussed it. I don't really care if that game type, for those that don't know, I'm specifically speaking about extermination. And I can link the thread. I've linked it before. I can link it down in the description if you guys want to read it. But what I would like you to explain is kind of the criteria for creating a new game type. I know when Annex was created in Gears 1, it opened up this whole new dynamic for respawns, and having that objective where it's not killing an opponent but controlling a specific area of the map. But can you kind of elaborate on that process of creating a new game type and what would be needed in order to implement one, I guess?
Okay, yeah, that's good. The process that we use basically is, if you have a really good idea, or even if it's not necessarily a good idea, if you have an idea, we try to test them and try to get them in, especially earlier on the development cycle for a game. We get it in and we play test it, and we quickly sift from the wheat and the chaff on whether or not it's a quality, you know, whether or not it's a worthy endeavor to pursue that and to try to put more hours into it. And then the process continues down. Okay, how accessible is it? How much fun do we think it is? Is it going to be popular? Is there depth to it? And if the answer is no to any one of those things, then we try to see if we can answer that. So, for example, with depth, you know, Team Deathmatch, I think one of the additions we had to depth on that is the pool of lives, and it takes away lives, even though it gives you that respawning feel, and it's a lot of fun, but it also has that depth of it dwindles down, and then you have no lives left, and you could still get that clutch and that exciting moment where it's just you against a few other guys. Right. And that's kind of how we look at those things. Okay, where's the depth involved in that? Where's the accessibility? Where's the fun? Is it going to be popular? Do we need this to replace or consume another game type? And that's something what we did with King of the Hill. We simplified it because we had King of the Hill, we had Annex, and we took the name King of the Hill because a lot of people know what that means. Not a lot of people know what the word Annex means. And we basically combined those two game types into a game type called King of the Hill for Gears of War 3. So we tried to do, that's just an example of simplification in that regard. And then what was your second question?
Kind of Okay, in the event that, okay, you talked about popularity. So in the event that you guys had a new game type and you think it's ready to go, what, how would you replace it, or would you just add it to the other game types, or um, is it like, and I can just directly say it. So when we talked about it previously, if a game type was not doing as well as others in terms of
Mm-hmm.
popularity, um,
Mm-hmm.
would that be cut and then replaced with another game type? So if you guys created
I
a
mean,
new game type and wanted to test it, would you replace it with another one?
we have the ability to. Now, that being said, we're going to run with these game types that we have in the game because we think they're really good. We think the game is fantastic. And all the game types we feel are really solid. So we do have the ability, if we wanted to, we could get rid of all of them and put a ton of new game types in all their stead and have no team deathmatch or no war zone, no execution. We could if we wanted to, but that's not what we're going to do. But if, for instance, one game type or playlist is dwindling in population, we have that commitment to looking at how to improve it, or if there's something else we can do to either replace it, or maybe it's better just to remove it altogether and take that population and form it up tighter knit and having a less game type. So we do have that ability. We can do that, but I think a lot of the new experiments that we're going to try are not necessarily going to be let's replace this game type for a while, but it'll be in a different, separate playlist.
Okay.
So that's, look at Torque Bow Tag in the beta, things experimental, whether they're objective modes or not. That's probably where they're going to be first. We're not just going to nuke, team deathmatch for a week or 2 weeks.
Okay.
Because, let's say a lot of people love team deathmatch. We're not going to nuke that for an experiment.
So this is what I'm going to say to that, to the people out there. I believe it was called Player's Choice in the beta. Is that correct? So
yeah.
For the people out there that want to know about that game type, or any new game types, or any new playlists, or any new ideas, look for it in Player's Choice. Is that a fair assessment of that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So if you guys want to test out new stuff, go to Player's Choice. Leave feedback in the forums about whatever new concept, new idea that they're testing. That'd be fantastic. Next question. I'm a big time multiplayer guy. I've been for a long time, and having someone that has the experience of making multiplayer maps for a title that's as big as Gears of War is really intriguing to me. So these are like map design questions. For you personally, where do you start, and what is the design process of creating maps, multiplayer maps?
Yeah, the process is very similar to what I mentioned with game types. So we provide a lot of freedom with our designers, and if someone wants to take the time to just put something in their mind into the game as far as a map is concerned, then they just do it quickly, and then we play test it, and we quickly decide whether or not, hey, this is pretty good, or let's just move on from here. And it's a very quick iterative process to find out whether or not it was good, because we don't want to spin our wheels on something and waste that time. So that's kind of how it's done here at Epic. Is, hey, you have an idea, do a map, try it out, and we play test it. And as far as the design guidelines that go into those maps for Gears of War, it's very, hey, what are the fronts here? We got to make sure that we have proper fronts. We got to make sure we have proper cover. And early on, you put cover in as what you think is pretty good. Then as the playtests go on, you get more in depth and intentionally design the cover to be more sufficient towards the level. And you find that out as a playtest, and that's what we had to do in the beta. Some of those maps in the beta, we had a better knowledge of how they played, and we intentionally redesigned and fixed some of it. So definitely strong fronts, strong flanks. We definitely got into a little bit more verticality with Gears of War 3 if you look at that compared to the previous two games. The multiplayer maps are not nearly as flat. And we also hit big on visual asymmetrics. We really wanted different areas of the map to stand out, so you can shout out and communicate the call outs. The bathroom over here, and the counter over here, and the blue fence over here with the pink polka dot daisies. And there's all these little areas that it's like, oh yeah, okay, he's over there at the bathroom. I know exactly where he is and how to get there. So that's how we definitely try to get our map on here at Epic for Gears of War.
Okay. With that, my next question, kind of related to maps, well, still related to maps completely, is what was the shortest cycle from start to finish on a map, and then what was the longest for the maps that are out, the 10 maps?
Ooh, the shortest. Well, I tell you what, Hotel is really well designed, and we didn't actually change it that much because it was so good. It was the designer that designed it, came up with it, and we put it in, play tested. It was like, yeah, this is pretty awesome. It's pretty classic in a way to Gears of War gameplay, and the weapon layouts were all good. And so that was definitely the shortest, as far as we knew that it had really good quality, and it made it into the game really quickly, and it was a really strong candidate for, shipping map. And the longest, that's a good one. You put me on the spot with both these questions. And I'd have to say that, I'm not going to speak out of my rear end on that one. So, sorry, I can't give you an answer on that. So.
I'm going to go with either Thrashball or Trenches, considering they were changed during the beta.
Yeah, you could say that they, we had to put more work into it, that's for sure. But a lot of our maps we put a lot of work into time-wise, and it'll definitely show come next week when you pick the game up, because they are much better designed than the previous games, and that's just because we've gotten better at making the game and making better levels and designing for it multiplayer-wise.
I definitely agree with that, because this is the first one where I've liked almost all of the maps, and when I did my last episode last week, I pretty much was a testament to how I felt about the maps. All of them are very well designed, although I don't agree with all of the weapon allocations on the map. So that's like a different deal for me. So,
but that might, with you playing the maps more.
Yeah.
See, I listened to that. I heard your little commentary there on Mercy, and for the most part, you're pretty accurate. But I don't know if you noticed it, but did you look at the roof? There's no roof on the church.
Yeah, I know, but it's still it's not hard to dodge mortars.
Yeah, that is true. But you are of the upper echelon of players. You and I have had this conversation.
Oh gosh,
many times where you're like, "Hey, this is way too easy." And like, yeah, Michael Jordan thought it was really easy to dominate too.
Okay.
So you pro players are much better than a lot of the other guys.
All right. So what's your favorite map on Gears 3?
Oh, my favorite map, man. Well, I'll give a shout out actually to Sandbar. It's not necessarily my favorite, but it's really high up there based on the fact that it is very unique from any of the other Gears of War maps that has ever been made. I look at it as sometimes you play a game and sometimes maps come up a lot. I'm like, oh, not this map again, and I just played this map. But Sandbar is really unique because it's a little bit bigger, and there's quite a few weapons on there that it provides players a lot of avenues to change up how they want to play each time they play it. So this time, hey, I want to be the sniper, and I'm going to go and snipe. And I did that last time. I'm going to go and try to do this instead. And I think that's what's really unique about Sandbar, is that it's pretty versatile because of its size, and it lets people kind of breathe and use rifles and see where combat is in the distance and know how to get there instead of turning a corner and getting blasted in the face.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Sandbar for me, and you hit it right on the head, it's just like one of those maps that's at least like a very, very good impression on you after you play it, and it's just a memorable map. So it's like one of those things that is you just kind of, I don't want to say you get attached to it, but it's just whenever you get the chance to play it. And this is what I was saying about it. I can't wait to play that map again and again for Horde, just because I want to walk around and experience something completely different each time, and I think that's possible. So
yeah,
I really love
no,
that.
that's true. You'll have fun on a Horde because it's my opinion deceptively difficult in the Horde. It's a pretty hard Horde map, but it's a lot of fun because in a lot of ways it comes with its own really cool locations and bases for you to set up shop in within.
Yeah. So let me see. We are on dedicated servers. A lot of people ask about dedicated servers. There's a few questions in here that I did not quite, I'm kind of thinking of on the fly. The first one, though, is custom matches are still peer-to-peer, meaning that you have a host, and whoever has a host, based on their connection, that's how good the connection will be for private custom matches. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Private matches are peer-to-peer.
Okay. Thank you. So everyone out there that has asked me 1,000 times, are customs going to be dedicated? There's your answer. Maybe in the future, for the next game or some other time, but right now, custom matches are still peer-to-peer, so there is going to be a host for the match. So if you have Fios, you need to be hosting. Yeah.
Nice plug for Fios.
If you're on something else, not Fios, and you have 1 megabyte upload, please do not host the match. Let one of your
if you got dial-up from Errol's video, do not be hosting.
Please do not be hosting. Thank you.
Get Joseph some files.
Next question. Has there been any changes to matchmaking? And you kind of answered this already. So a lot of people want to know, I guess, is the matchmaking better? The best way I can word it to make it, understandable for the people that don't quite get the matchmaking question. Let's say you're in a party of 5, you're all ranked 100, and you go into ranked, and you get paired with guys that are like level 3, 5, 7, and 8, and they're not in the party, and you just blow through them. Is the matchmaking in any way tweaked or changed to indicate true skill or true rank or anything like that a little bit better?
There's nothing in the UI that indicates how good someone is or isn't. But the matchmaking is definitely better than Gears of War 2 and previous Gears. Gears of War 2 mainly. Gears of War 1 didn't necessarily have
it. Yeah, it's more private and you had to join it. I remember that. Hot topic is weapon skins. I'm not going to ask you any of the rough questions on weapon skins. What I want to know specifically is, let's say that Major League Gaming has something with MLG, and you guys are like, man, it'd be really cool to make some MLG weapon skins. Could you guys do that as a DLC?
Well, sure. I mean, we can do a lot of things as DLC as far as weapon skins and things, but not necessarily having anything planned for MLG related weapon skins.
I just threw that out. I mean, it could be like giraffe weapon skins, or I don't know, just some other thing. It could be whatever you guys wanted to promote. It could be Bulletstorm weapon skins. You guys could do that there.
Sure. I was looking more towards skins with Skylus's face on it.
I think Skylus would like that. So I think all of the weapon skins have been revealed. There's 22 there's 28 total from what I could gather. Maybe there's more, but do you have a favorite weapon and weapon skin that you're going to be using on Gears of War 3?
Well, the weapon skin I'm going to be using is the Epic weapon skin. So you guys, if you're lucky enough, people listening, you might be able to see that. So that's going to be the weapon skin I'm using. Now, as far as weapon, I don't really have a favorite weapon per se, because I think I would be doing everyone that played the game a disservice, considering I designed the weapons for the most part, the mechanics on them and the balancing, that if I picked one that I used a lot as a favorite, I would probably balance that one better or do something to that one more so. So whenever I play, I actually try to play with all of them at all times. I keep switching it up so that I don't get used to one and say, this is the best. Oh, I'm going to make this weapon amazing because I love it. It feels so good, you know. So you guys need to hope that I don't actually have a favorite weapon, because that would be
I
bad.
think if you end up playing with us a little bit or against us every once in a while, you should have a favorite weapon that you try to use. Because if you don't, you're probably going to get torn up a little bit. I'm just throwing that out there.
All
Do you
right.
have a favorite character?
Oh, my favorite character is definitely not Cog. I'm not a Cog guy. I think the Cog are okay, but I'm definitely more on the Locust side.
God, they sound
I
nasty.
like. I know they're awesome. I heard you were trying to ride a silverback. What's that all about, dude?
Hey, I just want to get on the silverbacks because it seems like they would dominate the locusts pretty hard. So, hey, don't be hating on the silverbacks.
Yeah, that was pretty comical. But I think one of the coolest locusts is the Savage Theron. He's got that white armor. He just looks really cool. So I like playing with him, definitely.
All right, all right. Anything as far as like characters that, and this is, I guess, kind of not deviating from what we had talked about, but for beast mode characters, do you have any specific, since you like the locust, beast mode characters that you can use in game that you love?
Yeah, I actually like the Wretch. I think people will.
Really?
Oh yeah, the Wretch is legit.
Dude,
He's legit.
the little monkey
Yeah.
thing, the wretch.
Yeah, the monkey dog. Let's be more specific, okay? Let's not just diss on the Wretch. He's called a monkey dog, Holmes.
Dude, I just stomp on them. They seem like that wouldn't be a very good choice. What about
No,
what about him? What makes him so special?
because he could cringe people. He does the Wretch scream and he cringes them, and then your buddies can shoot them while they're cringed, or he could attack them while they're cringed.
So is that
It's pretty
that
sweet.
must be an in-house epic strategy. So when I play beast mode, I'm gonna designate whoever I dislike the most on my team to play the wretch to make them just stun people while we get all the kills. That sounds like
Well, you get a lot of points for it as well if they get those kills.
oh.
So it's not just a, hey, I'm gonna do this and you guys steal my kills. This isn't our first rodeo here. We know how to make
Okay.
games.
All right. Well, I think that pretty much wraps up all the questions that I have for you. Is there any last words or shout outs that you want to give?
No, not necessarily much of shout outs, but I think you need to actually really think about considering marrying your girlfriend, dude.
Oh, did you just put me on
Straight
the,
up.
you just put me on the spot?
Dude, I just put you on blast, Holmes.
Oh, wow.
On blast.
Yeah, well, we'll see
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, yeah, dude.
We've almost
But-
been together 2 years, so we're going strong.
Yeah, dude. That's good. And what was her name again?
Christy.
What was her name?
Christy.
Christy. Yeah, I was thinking Christine, but Christy. Yeah. So Christy, if you're listening, you make that boy, put a ring on it, right? Just like Beyonce.
Oh, wow. All right, guys.
Also, my last shout out is when you hear me coming as the Savage Theron. You better turn around.
Oh, yeah. I'll make sure I do that. All right, guys. So this has been the final episode for the Gears of War 3 beta series. Quinn, thank you so much for being on here. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime.
Guys, there's plenty more content coming on the way. We got a whole schedule lined up for you. I'll probably do another video on Wednesday to show you the full-blown schedule, but you guys can catch the first live stream on Friday of this week. We'll have Cali North streaming, probably get in a few scrimmages if we can, but hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will catch you later. Peace.